Thank you for joining me for this brief YouTube video. And there's something I want to share with you that's very interesting. When you read the book of Genesis chapter 6, it says that there were mighty men of renown, giants that were in the earth back in the time of Noah, both before the flood and after the flood. Now, we know from reading scripture that David and his mighty men dealt with the 5 giants in the Holy Land: Goliath, Ishbi-benob, Saph, the giant from Gath, and Elami, who was Goliath's brother. These 5 giants are mentioned by name in the Old Testament scriptures. So the giants in that day, if you look at the measurements, Goliath was probably somewhere around 9.5 to 10.5 feet tall, depending on how you measure the cubit, which is the cubit is the tip of the finger to the elbow. The Hebrew cubit is, which averages about 18 inches. And it tells you how many cubits tall he was. So you have to multiply that 18 inches into that. So 9.5 to possibly 10.5 feet tall. Now, you have NBA players today that are over 7 feet tall. They're very tall men. But when you add another foot to another 2 feet to that person, you can kind of get the idea of how tall these giant men were. And the Bible tells us that they were the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men. That's a whole nother teaching on the Nephilim, the Rephaim, the Anakim, the Zumzamim, these giants that lived in the Holy Land or actually lived in the earth back in that day. Here's the point I'm going to make. I always felt that at some point there would be evidence found of those giants. And there was a pit found in Egypt with these they were all right hands of giant bones. The hands were enormous. And that may have been one proof of that. But recently, archaeologists have found some massive leather shoes at an ancient Roman fort, and they can't figure out why the shoes are so large. So the article goes on to say that most of the shoes that are found in any excavations that date back to the Roman period, both, let's say, BC or AD. Now, they use BCE and CE, Common Era, and I'm not going to use those archaeological or terms here because people get confused with it. But there's that time frame of the Roman Empire. Most of the shoes of Roman soldiers average about the same length. These shoes, which have been discovered in a bog, which is an area of mud, are somewhere in the neighborhood of 11.8 inches long. Now think about that. That's a big foot. That's big foot. One of them that they discovered is over 12 inches long. Now, they keep saying they're unsure why, so they begin to check with researchers and scientists to say, why were these shoes bigger, okay? Now, one of the explanations says that because of the cold weather in that part of the world and with the Roman soldiers, that sometimes they would put on extra socks. Okay, now let's just think about this for a moment. So they would put on extra socks in order to accommodate the weather of that particular area, okay? So when you look at this, a 12.6 inch, now I wear a 10, okay? So, some people have bigger feet, but when you understand that the Roman soldiers' feet were an average of this, they say, why are these shoes so large? Again, one was found 12.8 inches. Now, there are, again, basketball players in the United States that are very tall. I mean, I have the shoe of one of my ministry partners, Lawrence Funderburk. He played basketball for the Sacramento Kings, a very dear friend, and it's a massive shoe. So we would look at that today and say, okay, that's no big deal. But if we go back to the research of the Roman Empire, we go back to the average size of the foot of a Roman soldier, we have to say, okay, there were so many pairs of these that were found, okay, in this bog, and all of these other ones are about the normal size, and these are not. So why were they? Okay, if, for example, the theory that one man gave that it was just a shoe that was made in the winter and they put extra socks on, if that were true, you should have a whole bog full of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these shoes if it was connected to that particular theory. That's just my opinion. It is, however, possible that these were the shoes of perhaps Rephaim or giant-sized men that were kind of a DNA mix that still existed at that particular period of time. And maybe, just maybe, and I can only speculate on this because no one will know, what they're trying to do is clean them out and get the actual foot itself in there to see, was the foot that tall? That will give more information, of course. But could this be evidence of what we call the Rephaim, or the giants of the Nephilim? Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, the only reason I'm even bringing this up, is because as it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the time of the coming of the Son of Man. And I've always believed that at some point there would be evidence, and as I said, the pit of Egypt with the arms that have been, the hands that have been cut off, these fingers are massive. These were huge men. May be evidence of that. Perhaps these shoes could be evidence of that. But I do believe that at some point, and I don't know when or where, that because the days of Noah were connected to giants, that you may find some kind of evidence, whether it's, and by the way, there has been some weird evidence found. There's been axe heads that are this big. There have been all sorts of sword handles that have been, there's been things that have been found throughout the earth that shows giant men did exist. Now, you'd have to research that out and see. But I want to tell you that I do believe that something's going to happen that's going to point us to the times of the giants, reminding us of the days of Noah that are being repeated in our day and time. So we need to look for that. There's some stories that are out there, and I don't ever want to get into stories unless you can confirm them through an actual legitimate news agency, because there is some false information out there that you research and find out that it wasn't true. But I want to tell you that there will be some things happening in the future that I believe are going to indicate the evidence that these giants did exist in the biblical time, and there will be evidence for that. And again, as I said earlier, there are weapons in museums in different parts of the world. Huge axe heads. A normal man could hardly pick it up. The dolmens in northern Israel, 3,000 stone tables. They have no idea how they put those stones on either side with a stone table on top. I mean, you could take 20 men from a tour bus that can't even lift these up. So there are mysteries out there that are going to be discovered, and it's going to be interesting to see. So I just wanted to bring you that little report and give you a little something to think about that's interesting. I know the young people love talking about this type of thing. This is one of their favorite subjects now, is the giants and sons of God, daughters of men. And so if nothing else, we'll just share that with them and share that with your kids. Maybe they'll find that interesting. So thank you for joining me. Just a little special report that I wanted to give you here if you've not heard about it, that I thought was interesting. Just remember, we are in the time of Noah and Lot, parallel seasons, which remind us that the Lord is coming. Keep your faith strong, keep your head up, and keep on looking forward. God bless you.
God has reserved the revelation of many prophetic mysteries for the time of the end, a time when knowledge shall increase. Daniel declared, "None of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand." This powerful truth is what inspires us to host an annual prophetic summit, bringing together America's leading speakers and revelators, all gifted in discerning and interpreting end-time events. The 2025 summit featured 14 powerful services with 7 prophetic leaders that Perry Stone is now making available to you in this special Manifest TV offer. When you order, you'll experience these 5 insightful messages from Perry. Is Trump a reformer leading a great American reset? Feasting on the wrong blood, Christians that are fellowshipping with demons. Why is God shaking churches and ministries before the rapture? The vision, chastisement because of defiant Christians, the nomophobia strike. How angelic demonic wars in heaven are affecting weather on earth. Joseph Z. illustrated his unique insights on the whiteboard with a revelation on the spirit of Elijah, the future of America. Bill Cloud brought Hebraic insight to the summit with these 2 messages. He is about to turn the tables over. He trains my hands for war. Mark Biltz used PowerPoint illustrations and charts to reveal Hebrew nuggets in his 2 teachings. Genesis mysteries from the Hebrew language. Birth pangs of the final redemption. John Kilpatrick posed the question, "The earth is speaking. Are you listening?" Plus, Jonathan Cahn expounds with a powerful message tracing the dragon's attack on Israel, and Mario Murillo hits hard with his message, "Away with the sissy false prophets." All 14 messages are now available on DVD for $95 and audio CD or USB drive for $65. This offer is also available for purchase as a digital audio download and video on demand when you visit perrystone.org. DVDs and video on demand include all PowerPoints, whiteboards, scriptures, and illustrations shown by the speakers. You'll receive over 14 hours of prophetic teaching, an investment in knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Your purchase helps Perry Stone Ministries continue a global outreach. To order, visit perrystone.org or call toll-free 1-888-21-BREAD. That's 1-888-212-7323. Or write to Perry Stone, P.O. Box 3595, Cleveland, Tennessee 37320. Include your check and the appropriate offer number. For DVDs, use offer number 25PS-DVD. For CDs, use offer number 25PS-CD. And for USB drive, use offer number 25PS-USB. If you love biblical prophecy, this could be your greatest spiritual investment in 2025. We look forward to hearing from you soon.
Searching for a message that inspires and uplifts, delivered precisely when you need it? Perry Stone offers immediate access to a vast collection of teachings grounded in God's Word. Visit perrystone.org/downloads to explore over 400 digital audio teachings in MP3 format, compatible with any device. Simply select your teaching, complete your purchase, and receive an instant download link, both on the checkout page and via email. Click Save As to store it securely, ensuring unrestricted access whenever you need it. For those who prefer video, perrystone.tv provides a dedicated video-on-demand platform featuring the latest conferences, teaching series, and Perry Stone's current manifest messages, all available instantly. This direct approach eliminates shipping fees and delays, especially beneficial for international audiences as it bypasses prolonged transit times. Plus, when making international purchases, your payment card automatically converts foreign currencies to your home currency using the exchange rate provided by the payment network, simplifying the transaction process. Whether audio or video, it's a timely, impactful word ready whenever you are.